like to do, hey, there she is. There's another one. I would just like to thank you for putting this book study together for us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Because I think this is, we've done a few, and they've been really good. I love it when we do book studies. It makes you read it, it makes you think about it, and then we sit and talk about it after. And it is huge to be able to do that, to get your feelings out and to talk about it and get other perspectives on it. And with this one, I had tried to read this one several times. And as we went through, I found my different markers where I'd made it so far into it and never finished the book. It's a very hard book. It's hard on yourself because you have to rethink. If you have not read this book, this one, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. If you have not read this book, you really need to read this book because it changes your perception. It really did some strong things for me. I'm a positive person. I try and be positive all the time. But one thing that I found is when I do get down, I don't really hear a bad self-talk, but I'm not doing any good self-talk either. And so somewhere in there, there's some programming that can make it so that I can be down. And so I'm learning how to change that up. And I actually did that this weekend. And I used positive self-talk to bring myself up. And it was pretty amazing to see that happen. And so I've asked a couple of the ladies who were on, and I know there was several more than this even on the book reading with us. But I'm going to start with Tina. Tina, you're going to share with us first, and then we'll just go from there. And I hope you guys get something from this. And if you have not read this book, you really, it would be a great idea to go out and get it. I love Tina's perception the very first time. She needs to tell us what she thought the very first time she opened the book and read like the first.
No, I'm not going to do that again. You know, every time I go through this, she asked me about this, and I started going back through it again. And I'm like her. I've had this book for a long time. I actually had it, didn't read it, tried to read it again. I gave it to one of my ambassadors because I couldn't make it through it. And it's, you know, I don't want to scare you off on it, but when you start reading this, and most of you guys have heard this story, but there's a chapter in there that talks about how, you know, the negative talk towards your kids. I have 4 grown children, so when I started reading this, I couldn't finish it. I just couldn't finish it because I felt like this guy was just telling me I was a terrible parent because of all the things that you say to your kids and you don't even think about it when you're doing it. It's what you know. It's, you know, what you hear or heard your whole life. So you do it and pass it on down. And yeah, he really comes at you hard with it about, you know, things that you've said to your kids. And it's hard to do. And like Edith, I started it several times and couldn't make it past those chapters because I thought, no, I don't need to listen to this. When we got through it this time, though, if you get past those parts, it starts explaining to you why you did that, why you do that, and then it's not your fault. But you have to get past some pretty hard chapters to get to the point where you're understanding what he's trying to say. I will tell you that when we were doing this book reading, for me, there was several times that, and I think Dina kind of will attest to this too, but there were several times where I would read a chapter and it was almost like this guy was in my head because something that week happened. And yeah, it was some rough months. The last few months I've had some rough things happen, but every time something bad would go on, I'd read whatever chapters we were supposed to read and he covered it. And it was like, you know, he was talking to me, and the perspective on it is just so amazing. There's one chapter in here that I told everybody that I absolutely loved was at the very end of this book. It talks about situational self-talk, which was my favorite of the whole book. because I'm like Edith, you know, I'm not very negative, hardly ever. I have a big problem with people who are. I don't understand drama and negativity hardly at all. I just don't understand the need for it. But there was some stuff in here that even helped me kind of understand how other people are that way, which was helpful for me to try to figure out how to deal with people that are like that. Because in the past, I just can't. I don't understand it, and I don't get it. So it did help me a little bit with that. But I'm not one of those that can post motivational things all over the walls, the affirmation stuff. I mean, I hear them, I see them, but I'm not going to post them everywhere and look at them. And at the end of this, it has the situational self-talk, and what that means is you do it as it happens, basically. I mean, when I'm in a situation and something is happening to me at that time, it helps you come up with things to do and say that change your thought right then. And that's kind of how my brain works. I will tell you in this thing, I mean, if you guys want the link in the book, there is you can go and order the subliminal self-talk as well. I did do that, and I absolutely love that. That's something I can do. I plug it into my ear at night, and I can sit and listen to this stuff going into my brain. I have to have something like that. I can't just force myself to, you know, automatically do that kind of stuff. But this book was just, I mean, there's so much stuff in here and tips, and he actually gives you what to say in all these different situations. And I have found that over the last month or so, I'm using more and more of those. I mean, I don't know if it really counts as a motivational thing, but I also read the book Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, which I absolutely love, and I would love to do a book reading on that. I love that one. But I say that probably 5 times a day now. Anytime something bad is happening in my world, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. And so that's one that I used a lot from a different book, but this book is what made me think about using that more often. So, you know, again, at these book readings, again, I agree. I'm really seriously trying to talk Edith into doing this for our teams. See if we can get any of them that will come in and do this book reading, because it just, I know Dina's going to talk, and I got to tell you guys, she's going to make you cry. And that's what this book is about, the kind of things that help people like her, that it's just mind-boggling. I'm going to start crying just thinking about poor Dina there. So anyways, I mean, that's all I really got. If you get a chance, do read the book, and don't give up on the first couple chapters, because I did. And it's so worth it to make it all the way through, because it gets so much better, and you understand why the first chapters are like that, because it makes you understand what he's trying to say to you. He's not picking on you. It's just truth. It's truth, and it is what it is, and it's a fact. So that's all I got. You're going to announce Dina, or where are you going?
I'm going to go with Marilyn right now, because I have an idea.
Dina keeps freezing.
Yeah, so I think that Dina's going to make us cry.
I know she is.
I said not one word, and Tina already knows. So I'm going to go with Marilyn, and here I'd love to hear her take on the book, because Marilyn has a positive spin on things, and like I say, I love the positive spin. So Marilyn, take it away, lady. Let's unmute you, babe. Hold on.
Sorry about that. Thank you, I said. First, I want to thank Jeannie too for doing this. This was really, really needful and great, and so very, very helpful. And I then need to give a disclaimer. I wasn't in the group all that much, and I had read the book maybe 5 or 6 months before. So this was my second reading. I knew I needed to read it because I read it, but I didn't implement it. But it got me thinking a whole lot. And some of the things that Tina said just kind of crystallized things for me here too a little bit. I've been going through a lot of changes in my life in the last 7, 8 years, just really re-examining what do I really, really, really believe. And some of you know parts of my journey. I won't go into deep details or anything, but I'm just saying it to say we are all in a different place. And one thing I keep telling Peggy and so many other new ones, what I love so much about Plexus, we are all for each other. And, you know, your journey's not my journey. Your timetable's not my timetable. You are good at this. You are good at that. And we all have our own little niche to fill. And I've been years trying to be comfortable with being who I am, which I guess that probably really is a whole lifetime journey for each one of us. But the last few years have brought me to a real different kind of an understanding. And it's called like a Western mindset or an Eastern mindset, and understanding the Bible that way. Jesus grew up with a Western mindset. He was in the Western hemisphere, and the way people thought is different than the way we over here think, and it really is. And it just brought a lot of changes into my life. And one thing that this self-talk book did for me is, first of all, it really showed me how I'm always down on myself. I'm a very positive person because I try so darn hard that nobody's going to call me negative. No way. So, you know, I'm a very positive person. But let me talk to myself, and, you know, it doesn't go so well. And I see you're all nodding. You probably all have this little bit in you that's, but the journey I've been on and understanding the Bible very differently than what I was brought up to understand it has just really, really, really opened my life in the last few years. And my husband and I are now Jewish. And we embrace and love Yeshua, the Messiah, the same Jesus everybody talks about, but it's so different because we understand him with the Western mindset now, and it's really different. And, you know, it's for you to go there if you want to, but all I want to say about that is, in learning to walk a Jewish life, I'm reading a Jewish prayer book. Every morning, Jews pray all the time. When they get up in the morning, they pray for this, they pray for that, they pray. Get this, folks, they pray a Plexus prayer. I don't need to be funny. Well, let me do the first one. First thing we wake up in the morning is the prayer that says, it's a short one. I gratefully thank you, O living and eternal King, for you have returned my soul within me with compassion. Abundant is your faithfulness. First thing I open my eyes in the morning, this is not all about me. And if I'm not in God's plan, I might as well just stay in bed. But abundant is your faithfulness. Do you know how many times growing up as a child and going through, you know, Bible verses, this and that, and this Bible verse, great is your faithfulness, and your mercies are new every morning. How many times did I tell myself and didn't listen to myself that if I could tell myself that every morning when I woke up, what a different day it would be. But see, that's been growing in me for years. And this book just kind of put in my face like, well, hello. You know, so I love that. And yeah, there's a Plexus prayer. And it's a prayer for when you first get up in the morning. Peggy's laughing because she knows what it is. We pray when we wash our hands. We pray when we go to the bathroom. Listen, blessed are you, Hashem, our God, King of the universe, who fashioned man with wisdom and created within him many openings and many cavities. It is obvious and known before your throne of glory that if but one of them were to be ruptured or but one of them were to be blocked, it would be impossible to survive and to stand before you for even 1 hour. Blessed are you, Hashem, who heals all flesh and acts wondrously.
That is
Are you thankful that you can go to the bathroom?
that is a plexus prayer, Marilyn.
That is a plexus prayer. And I think I'm done.
Well, I do appreciate you coming on and see your perspective. What a wonderful thing. It's taken something that you've been working hard on with your life, and it's helped you to implement it even more in your life. See, it resonated with Tina for one thing, and then
Right.
it turned around and absolutely hit you upside the head with something completely different, because it didn't hit me with my Jewish prayer. That's not what I had. Do you know what I mean? But it hit me with things that I needed at Tina's brain. And now we're going to move on to Dina. And so I appreciate you too, Marilyn. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, Dina, let's unmute you, dear. And let's have you tell us a little bit about your journey through this book the last couple of 6 weeks here that we've been doing this with you.
Okay, well, hopefully I don't freeze. The internet where I'm at is very spotty. But, so, this, okay, so I'm gonna, Edith, I'm gonna start balling probably.
You're good.
So not everybody knows, but my family and I made a huge move on a leap of faith, basically. We moved from St. George, Utah, where we were not in the best of homes, but I had a roof, had a job, and things were really, really good. We decided we wanted to the family. So we up and moved our youngest children to Boise, Idaho. I had a job, but no place to live. I just figured things would fall into place when I got here, and they didn't so much just fall into place like I thought. We camped for 2.5 to 3 weeks in a tent. We couldn't afford the campground anymore, and the only place we had left to go was a homeless shelter. And in the midst of all of this, not only did I bring my 3 youngest children with me, we had my oldest daughter and my 3 grandchildren join us in the campground, and therefore in the homeless shelter as well. And where before we were taking care of ourselves and doing okay, we weren't wonderful, but we were doing okay. Here I found myself feeling like a failure, and like I could not even take care of my own family or my children. And what had I done, and what was I thinking? And I was to the point when they brought up this book study that I was ready to end it all. This book, and I told Edith this earlier today, literally saved my life. And 6 weeks ago, I was in a homeless shelter with no hope. Yes, I was going to work every day. I had a smile on my face at work. I always do. No matter what I'm going through, I put on a brave face and a smile. Nobody has a clue unless I open up and let in. This made me realize that I needed to fix what's going on in my head and not let it get me. I had to survive. I had to be here for my children and my grandchildren, who were all looking up to me and counting on me to make this right. Long story short, about a week ago, things started to fall into place. My brother called. They were home. It was old. It needed work. Just dinner was ready. Um, we moved into this home. It's an old home, but I have a home. I have a roof. I'm out in the middle of nowhere in the country, which is where I've wanted to be for years. Um, I literally walked into another job with a raise, and it's 6 miles from this home instead of an hour's drive, which is where I'm at now. Without this book, I wouldn't be here. My children would not have a mom anymore because I was literally planning out in my head what I write in my goodbye letters to my family. And I changed that because of a book. And if you think self-help and self-improvement's not important, you're so very wrong. Please just take a chance. Trust in yourself enough and trust in your.
Come on.
Okay, she's done. We're all bawling over here.
Oh, now there she goes. Now she's back. Oh, you froze for about the last 20 seconds, but we got it. We got the gist. You were, oh my gosh, girl. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is the reason why when Jeannie asked me if I would do the call this week, I thought, what could we possibly talk about that we haven't talked about yet? And I thought, this is something that we haven't. And this was life-changing. And it literally changed a life. And so the fact that we sat down as a team and as a group of friends and got together and did this, the night that we did this meeting, I mean, how many times did we see Dina outside the homeless shelter standing out there in the dark to do this meeting with us? And look at what this book has done for somebody that, I mean, I think almost, well, there might be a couple that have not met Dina. Most of us have met Dina, know Dina. Oh my gosh, to know the girl is to love her. She's the sweetest, kindest, most caring. I've seen her mad like once, and I think she said, darn it. And that was like it. She doesn't get angry. She's so full of just love for everybody. And let me tell you something else, what she was doing. Nobody else knows this kind of stuff. She was buying things for the other families in the homeless shelter because they needed things. Those babies needed things, and they needed some help. And so just in a conversation, she mentions this, and I'm thinking, well, duh, of course you did. Of course you're out there taking care of somebody else's babies because those babies needed stuff. So when you can take something that was this kind of a powerful meeting, a powerful book, it can really change your life, and it really did. So Dina, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you coming on and opening your soul up for us, because that one was amazing. And I am so glad you are in a home and out in the country where you want to be and closer to family and a raise. Woohoo! So see, that's self-talk, and you kept it up, and you kept up the good self-talk. I'm for one, I'm extremely glad you did, girl. I love you. So I think that's about it. Jeannie, if you have anything to say, I don't see anybody else in here that was like on the. Was Shayna? Shayna, did you do the book?
No.
Okay, so I just you then, Jeannie. So if you've got anything to say, other than that, I think we're done.
Can I say something real quick before you go?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Edith kind of touched on it, but here's something I want to say. You know, we have all of these Zooms and all of these calls and all these different things that everybody does and everybody's invited to. And so many times everybody's, well, I don't have time, or I can't make it, or I don't want to do this, or I can't. Let me tell you something. That lady right there was on every one of those Zoom calls. I think she missed one.
Yep.
Like Edith said, standing outside of a homeless shelter, she was able to get on, and that's dedication.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just, Dina knows I love her.
Yep. Great point, Tina. Could not agree more, because we were super proud of her, and it made us, we're like, now none of us are missing a call. Every week we're on there because there's no excuses. So yes, Dina loved it. No, you guys, I mean, Tina, Marilyn, Edith, Dina, everybody did super, super great. I love it. The only thing I could say is kind of like everybody else said, Scott got to do a good part of this with us too. My husband, for some of you don't know, but it was awesome because we realized, like my aunt, I started this book and it was hard. I've started it probably 2 or 3 different times, and it wasn't at the right time, I think, sometimes too, because I was kind of like, oh, I'm that positive person. I don't need this book. I talk fine to myself. That's why when you get into it, it's so amazing, no matter how, like Marilyn said, how positive you are on the outside. We all, I don't care who you are, have that talk of negative talk or I can't, and you don't realize those words. You do in here and how much you say it. And that was something that really got me, that was, wow, yes, there's those thoughts. But our boys, like Tina said, there's so many times that we listen to them now, and Scott and I are on them like that. I mean, it's no, we don't talk like that anymore. You know, we're going to turn that around. So it's been awesome since doing this book, just the changes we've seen in ourselves, but also in them, and us being able to teach them has been really cool. So that was my reward. So, but yeah, great call, Edith. Loved it.
You bet.
Jeannie.
Not a problem. It was one of those things that I thought we needed to maybe talk about since we'd finished, but some people didn't, you know, they came in later. There's some people that are new.
Yep.
Absolutely, we need to do another one. And I love the suggestion, because when Gil's the one that brought up the don't sweat the small stuff.
That's right.
He did that.
I love that book. I absolutely love that book.
I've read that one twice now. I can pick that one up and reread it because that one is an awesome book. I would love to do a team reading on that one. I know we've got the 90-day challenge coming up, so I don't know that we'll be doing that, which, by the way, you guys, 90-day challenge coming up. Great time to build your team. That, you know, get yourselves in there. If you're wanting to grow, that is when I have grown the most, is when I've done the 90-day challenge, when Dusty would throw those things out there every day, and it would make me say, oh my gosh, I've got to hurry up and go get on the post and put my stuff in there. So,
By the way, I think that's where we met, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I
Yes.
think it was the first 90-day challenge. I think that was when we did Power Partners. So that's another good thing to think through, is maybe Power Partners for some of these guys that don't have them, because
Good
I
suggestion.
don't know what I would do without mine. Even through all my back surgery and everything, I swear the girl knows if I'm having a down day, I'll get a text at the end of the night. It'll say, are you all right? That's all it'll say. You all right? I'm like, quit, get out of my head. You know, I've had to change a few things. I try to still be positive. Like, as you can see, my office is my garage. Do you know I have 2 desks upstairs? If I tried to walk up my stairs with my computer, my self-talk tells me you are clumsy. I know I am. I've fallen down enough times to know it. I'm going to try and change that, but in the meantime, I'm still clumsy. My self-talk also tells me I've told my kids since day one, I'm going to be the first one to fall down the stairs and smack my head on the wall at the end of it, and I know that I am. I'm not doing it. I don't do stairs very well anymore, so I now have a new garage, and I'm happy with it. It's a nice garage desk with my little stuff here. Yeah, I've got 2 perfectly good, nice desks upstairs. It just doesn't matter. My self-talk, I don't know. I'm 50. I don't know if I'm ever going to be any more unclumsy than I am right now. So you guys, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Now you can get back to your families and